It's the day, April 5th, officially air movie release day, and I can't wait. I got my ticket. I'm ready to go and enjoy this movie. Now, I have rather high expectations. That's really based on the amazing cast they have set for this movie, from Viola Davis, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Jason Bateman, Chris Tucker. I'm very excited just to see them together, and then to see the art of the story of selling Michael Jordan and his family, and they show it really being them selling his family on why Nike was the best fit. Because remember, there is no Jordan brand yet. They're building this entire thought of a collection and a product line around this one prolific player. And Jason Bateman just didn't think that was going to work. And then you have Phil, who's like, you want to base this on a rookie who's never seen the NBA floor? Yeah, Matt had to remind him that's literally the definition of a rookie. And we know that just from the previews, which was one of my favorite parts, because it's comical just in the preview. And I'm sure I'll laugh in theater. Now listen, I'm not special enough to have seen an early screening or been invited to any of those. So I'm seeing it just like everyone else on April 5th. But shout out to Footwear News, because they reached out just to get my perspective on this movie, and if I thought personally it would have the same effect on the retail market or even the secondary market for sneakers in the manner in which we saw The Last Dance have that. And I think no, just because The Last Dance was the perfect storm. If we're being honest, it was the perfect storm. We were all locked down. There was stimulus money floating around. And that documentary focused on you really seeing Michael. So think about a younger generation that's never seen him play, especially in person, and what they were able to witness through this documentary. And now it's a little bit different. It's more so the business aspect of Nike and Phil and the entire brand winning him over when Converse was the hot shoe and Adidas. I remember he hooped in forums in college. So I don't think this will have the same effect. If it does, maybe it's on certain Jordan 1 colorways, right? Maybe it's on like a Chicago or a Lost and Found, but I don't think it's across the board all models like 2s and 3s and 6s and 7s. I mean, 4s hold their own. Like, I'm still trying to figure out why the Black Cat 4 is at the price that it is on the secondary market. I still cannot figure it out. But I am excited to see this. Now, I intend to talk about this movie like spoiler free once I'm back, but then also discuss some spoilers, just because I will take notes. I'm pretty sure there will be just certain elements of the movie that are worth discussing. And that's what we do here, because I have branched into just talking about movies in addition to sneaker releases and other pickups I have. And shout out to Extra Butter for sending over this hoodie. So it's perfect. It has the whole director's chair right there, which means I will act as a critic tonight, but more so just also a fan of the brand and the actors, actresses that are present for this film, bringing it to life. I'm sure it's something at least I think will be good for the culture. If you're a fan of the book Shoe Dog, then I would imagine you would enjoy seeing this come to life on the big screen. I think it'll just tie everything in together. I read it years ago, so I would likely have to reference notes ahead of time if I were to try to relate it one-to-one. But I'm very excited. So if you guys intend to watch this opening weekend, be sure to comment that below. In addition to the hoodie, rocking my Richie Lee collection cargo pants from way back. These pants are probably from like 2020, I won't even lie. And then my Jordan 1 Bordeaux pair. They don't get enough love, and it's perfect for the hoodie. So with all that being said, let me head off to the movies and enjoy myself. Okay, back from the movie, let's talk about a few things I noticed immediately as soon as I walked into my theater. Number one, I'm the only person there in Jordans. A nice, sweet old couple sat next to me, neither one in Jordans. I looked around the entire theater as I was leaving. No one actually in Nikes, if I'm not mistaken. So that should give you an idea that this movie will resonate far outside of sneaker culture. I know that's a little weird for people in sneakers to think that things are made outside of just our enjoyment, because we tend to be a little entitled, but this is the story of Nike and Sonny signing Michael. It is not the actual story of sneakers in itself and Michael Jordan's prominence within sneakers right now. It's not, because he hadn't done anything within sneakers yet. He was simply the 3rd pick in that year's NBA draft, and everyone wanted to sign him. And you had Adidas and Converse as the front runners. You had Nike, who he wanted nothing to do with. And this is certainly a story of being the underdog, being the one that's been counted out, fighting for what you believe is the home run effort, even when very few people actually believe in you. And to that point, I don't necessarily know that I have to preface like, oh my goodness, like spoilers, because you can go Google the story of Sonny and Nike signing Michael, but I will touch on a few points. There's one that I will leave out for a secondary video, and that's simply because it's in relation to the contract he signed and how important one specific element his mom stressed was non-negotiable for him signing with Nike, and it was something that no other brand would meet, and that had to do with revenue sharing. So I'll get to that in a different video because it's about equity and it's about knowing your worth and it's about linking yourself to a long-term investment. Hint, hint, something that I try to get across on this channel. Beyond just buying the shoes, can you grow as they grow? I'm so glad that that was actually present in the movie. I have stressed this so much on this channel. Can you please be more than just a consumer? He wanted to be more than just someone Nike made money off of. He wanted to make money as they made money off of him. I'm gonna leave that for a different video. So a few things to note with Nike. They were on the verge of really wanting to cut their basketball division because they were at the bottom of market share when it came to the overall industry itself. Adidas, Converse, blew them out of the water in terms of market share, which is so comical now because Nike went and bought Converse, and now that's a brand under the Nike umbrella itself. But they just weren't doing great, and it's crazy because they touch on the fact that you have $900 million for Nike itself, but all you want to spend is $250 on your basketball line. And when you think of what Nike basketball is, I mean, how often do we say we miss the old Nike basketball days when they ran everything and they had us in a chokehold? Yeah. That almost didn't exist. That was almost cut in 1984 before they were able to sign Michael and bet the house on him. And Sonny Vaccaro, he is the true just win of this movie, because I've said this before, the movie is not focused on Michael. You don't see him, you do not see his face, unless it is actual pictures of Michael we've seen before in the past. So you're not actually looking at Michael, but you should have gathered that from the actual movie, the previews itself. This isn't about Michael. The protagonist, the focus is Sonny Vaccaro. If anybody should win awards for this movie, it's Sonny, played by Matt Damon, and it's Mrs. Jordan, it's Mama Jordan, played by Viola Davis. Outside of that, I don't necessarily see a whole lot of other awards being out. The acting is still great, but Matt Damon steals the show. And I will say this with all due respect, Phil Knight, it really is with all due respect, but my goodness, you were cringe in the pitch meeting. I just felt like you were on the verge of blowing it. If it was not for Sonny coming in to give just the best inspiring monologue you could ever think. And I don't want to ruin the monologue, so I'm going to save it. I'm not going to ruin the monologue for you, but please just know that monologue is everything. And there are some real life lessons and gems in there. So once you hear it, you'll totally understand it. But I think a key takeaway from this movie, and hopefully you get this, and let me know if you get this, if you've seen the movie, especially opening weekend, you have to believe in yourself, and you need at least one person to have just endless amounts of faith and belief and trust in what you're capable of doing. And whatever you're dead set on, whatever your home run is, or whatever you feel you can do, you need at least one other person to believe in you that way, and it can take you so far. Sonny Vaccaro had Howard. He kind of had Strasser, but I mean, kind of. Jason Bateman kind of believed in him in here. But he had Howard, and that took him so far. And he lets him know that in the movie. And Michael Jordan's mom, I mean, he credits her in the very end that even when he was 45 years old, his mom was still parenting him and still raising him, even at that big age. And she's just such a light in this movie. I mean, she really is a mom. She's comforting, but she's direct. She is in charge. And you understand that it was always about having her son's best interests at heart, not letting a company only make money off of him. And that's amazing, but she didn't want a company to just make money off of him because she knew what her son was capable of when no one else did yet. She knew exactly what he was capable of, even when they brought up the fact that so many other players have done X, Y, and Z, right? You had the prolific offensive players or defensive players, but not necessarily both, right? Who in their right mind would win Rookie of the Year and MVP and Finals MVP and multiple championships. Yeah, she called all that. She called all that. All of it. Every last bit of it. So you need someone to believe in you like she believed in him. Again, there's a follow-up to this video in relation to the actual contract he signed. They wanted a shoe to appeal beyond just the basketball court. That was something his agent focuses on. And just Who would have thought that that's exactly what they would have achieved? Almost too well? I think they achieved that almost too well. If you look in 2023, when you think of a Jordan, you think of a lifestyle shoe. You don't even think of a performance pair on the court anymore. You don't, because once we get past a certain number, people are not looking to actually wear the 35, the 36, and the 37. I'm just being honest here. The shoes people break their necks over, they want to line up over, they want to camp over, they want to fill out raffle after endless raffle. It's not for a performance pair. It's for one of these. It's for a retro. They wanted something to transcend beyond the court. But you need a player that is bigger than life, that is bigger than just the game on the court. You need that confidence. You need, as they said, quiet swagger. You need every and anything that Michael Jordan embodied in excellence as the epitome of a competitor. And that is exactly what we know him to be. That's what this movie highlighted in terms of the pitch. Not seeing him play, but in the pitch. And that is why Sonny is truly the MVP of this movie. So I'm going to close out here. Please know, though, again, we will touch on the follow-up to this. I thought it was an amazing movie. It is right up there with Creed 3 for me, so I'll likely end up seeing this again. And I would love to know your thoughts if you've already seen it, just in terms of also the 80s nostalgia. And did you appreciate this being told from Nike's business perspective and the pitch and the fact that it really does come from somebody that dealt with talent, somebody that dealt with the design of the shoe, and Peter Moore, and bless his heart, and everything that Peter Moore gave us in basketball. And, you know, he said the Jordan 1, it looks as if it's always been here. It's just natural. It's just fluid. I 100% agree with what Peter said there. And then you had Howard, who really handled the players just in bringing them along. And then you have marketing, which was Strasser's job. So whole team effort, always on the offense, always on offense 100% of the time. And I think this movie delivered. So if it's nominated for awards, I totally understand why, but Matt Damon better be the one nominated, and Viola Davis. So that's all I got for you guys. Be sure to comment your thoughts below on this movie. Be sure to catch the follow-up to this as well. As always, act your age, not your shoe size. Peace.